So a little while back, I posted this video about the physical prep work that I did with the Nyon Rugby team here in Nyon, Switzerland, and it's gotten a lot of interest. So I thought I would add a commentary on top of the video for those who are interested in learning more about the ins and outs and the details of what I did with the team. So in this video, I'm going to be commenting over the physical prep video that I posted a little while back. If you're new here, my name is Sean. I'm the founder at Upside Strength, your #1 fitness resource in Switzerland. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel to see all of our new content as soon as it comes out. And without waiting any longer, let's get right into the content. So like I said before, this is physical prep work that I did with the Nyon Rugby team, which is in the A League here in Switzerland. And so right from the beginning here, we started with some hill sprints. Pulled a lot of good information from rugby strength coach from Kier Wenham Flat and from his strength coach network. I will link that in the description below. So here you can see we're doing some acceleration position work, and again some more sprints, some more hill sprints, starting on a hill to make it a little bit easier on the hips, the hamstrings, and here you can see our first set of tempo runs. So again, the tempo runs that I took from Kier's work. Some really good information in there. Here we did a little team warm-up. So you can see I'm just working the guys in 2 lines, and so they're supposed to keep the line, keep the distance between the people to their left and to their right, and then follow me insofar as moving forward, backwards, etc. Here we have some change of direction work. We had some positional holds. Here we have some 3-step 180 turns, trying to really stick that leg into the ground. Here we're working on the whistle, and so as soon as I whistle, they're going to turn around, try to plant that foot into the ground, starting from different stances, moving in different directions. You saw a side shuffle to a cut. Here we're working in pairs, so it's a little more reactive in nature, and you can see that the first person goes and the second one reacts. Here the person in red is stepping into space and allowing the player that comes running to decide which interval to take, and the goal is to help the player make the right decision. Back to some tempo runs. So again, we ran about 5.5 weeks of tempo runs. Had some really good results with that. Switching to a team warm-up, here you saw some warm-up with the guys. Again, the tempos, switching a little bit between everything here. Again, some tempos. It was nice. We had 3-4 different groups, and so we sorted the groups out according to the results on the 6-minute test that we did. So we did a half Cooper test as opposed to doing a yo-yo or a Bronco test. The reason I used the 6 minutes was simply that it was the easiest one to implement. We have a nice track here at the stadium, and so that was a really easy test to conduct with all the guys, and it gave us a good idea of their overall conditioning and who had to really do some work to catch up to other people in that same position. Here you see some more warm-up work that we did pretty consistently before every session. We had a pretty strict format at the beginning of the season regarding the warm-up, and then it evolved throughout the season. Again, a little bit of running exercises, so acceleration and sprint work before we got to the training session. Here you can see another set of tempos. This time we're in phase 3 already, so you can see some wrestling at the beginning, a shuttle, and then down and up, down to the ground and back up. You can see the pace is not quite the same as at the beginning of the season. Here's another set of tempo runs. Somehow they turned on the sprinklers on us, so that was an interesting evening. So that's the guys afterwards trying to catch their breath. I love the tempos in that regard because the first couple weeks really feels like nothing's happening, but then you get into the phase 3, into the red, and then it really starts stinging. Here we're doing some holds with some acceleration work in terms of position, so they're working in pairs. And here we have some sprints, the whole team sprints, forwards, backs. I got everybody to run the same distance so far this season, but we're mostly likely going to be changing that slightly. Moving forward, props don't need to do 40-meter sprints as much as the backs do, but it's still good for them to still good for them to do the sprints in order to get all the injury prevention benefits out of them. So again, some sprints here. We usually started pretty short with some 20-meter sprints, and then ramped up with some 30 up to 40-meter sprints for the team. Again, some acceleration mechanics, either holding positions or marching in that position, really trying to push the ground behind them. So that was some really good work that everybody got into, and saw some good progress throughout the season for the team by doing this. Again, some more sprint work. Here they were going about 26, 27 meters, and here, if I'm correct, they're gonna go 40. Yeah, so it was one of those days when we did 20 and then 30 and then 40. Here we did a little plyo circuit. If I remember correctly, we were doing 20 to 25 seconds of work, and then about the same or slightly longer in terms of rest. We had some box jumps, we had some side steps, we had some med ball slams, some med ball throws, little hill climbs there on the right hand side. So it was a fun little circuit that the whole team did. And here we have a little shuttle sprint. So that was a fun way to get the guys to really go 100% in a team format. So setting up a team, and I really liked using cones this season because it forces them to go the distance instead of touching a line. They actually have to grab the cone and bring it back home, and that way we can make sure that they're going the full distance. Again, some running exercises, some running drills in the warm-up. We always did that. Also did some short accelerations at the end of every warm-up. Here there's some slightly longer sprints of the team, and again some acceleration mechanics. We usually alternated from one day to the next, or 1 week to the next. Sometimes we did some sprints in a more kind of closed format like this one, where they just start to sprint on the whistle. Others we did some games and some sprints. Here running another set of tempo runs. So here you saw a 5-meter shuttle down and up, and then they go for whatever distance they're supposed to go for. The fastest guys, so here you can see the full version of the, let's say, phase 3 tempo. So you have about 5-6 seconds of wrestle, a 5-meter shuttle, a down and up, and then 60 to 70% run. Trying to really have a good stride on those, trying to keep breathing, stay tall, and get to the other side. The fastest guys, as I was going to say before, ran usually about 130 meters on those, plus the 10-meter shuttle. So that's 140 meters total every minute on the minute, and we went up to doing 3 sets of 8 reps of those with 2 to 3 minute rest in between. That's, I think, the busiest training session we had with the seniors. So I actually did 2 groups for the warm-up, which worked quite well. Here's another little sprint relay. So the biggest guys start first and they go 10 meters, and then those guys go to the middle, again bringing the cone back. Others have to start on the floor and their back turned to the running, and those guys have to go all the way and bring the cone back to the start. We actually had 4 guys run, 4 guys per group, change the direction, grab the cone, bring it back home. Here you go. So everybody gets a good run in, a little bit of teamwork. It's always good. Here's some more change of direction work and reactive agility drills. So here you can see some iso holds in terms of change of direction, really planting that foot into the ground. Then we get to a fun little kind of a battle exercise where you have to push the other person out of the square only by using that side stance, really stepping and trying to push him out. And here's a little easier for the big guy. Here's another version of what we did previously. So here there's no ball, and there's just the person in blue stepping either left or right, and then the person running has to step and go into space. So we're actually providing the space for them. They're not trying to technically beat the defender, they're really trying to get the space. We did that with different run-ups. So the first one was straight. This one you can see you're running slightly curved towards the runner. Now we add the ball component, so you have to put the ball under the right shoulder when you're to fend, when you go into space. So trying to work in some practical ways of making things automatic for the guys. So 2 hands on the ball. So he had it on the wrong side there, unfortunately. Here's another version of what we did before. So this time they're coming straight ahead. Nice little rain. I think it was almost snow at this point. Now we got the ball again. And again, trying to really step into the ground, pushing the floor away, and trying to go into space. So looking ahead, reacting to what they see, picking the right option, stepping, putting the ball into the right hand, fending with the other hand, and trying to really use that space as best as possible. That was a good one there. You could definitely see who's a natural stepper and who's not, but it's good for everybody to work on those qualities. Here's a little bit of core work to end that training session with everybody, to end the physical prep portion. Here we were running some sprints, so that was pretty interesting. We did some sprints on a curve. Here's Cyril going full tilt. And then we had a little bit of core work in between before going afterwards into some more S-shaped, so curved sprints again. Trying to do some sprints but with a little bit of a twist. That was a pretty interesting drill. Here we did a little sprint chase. Again, that was the following week. We don't do multiple sprint exercises in one session. That would be a lot for the guys, but we did at least once a week some sprinting. So here they're starting about 4 meters apart, and it's the person, they're starting laying flat on their stomach, and it's the person behind that kicks off the chase, and they have to try and catch the person who's in front. So that was really popular with the guys. They really enjoy all these little sprint exercises that involve some competition and some play. We're really all just kids, so anything that can be linked to playing and trying to beat the other guy is always welcome. Here's another team warm-up that we did towards the end of the season on the track because our let's say our pitch was completely destroyed. And we also finished this half season with a half Cooper test, again the 6-minute test, I was interested in learning about how much fitness they actually retain throughout the season, to try and plan for next season and see how much fitness we had to do next season in order to be ready for the knockoff phases. So it turns out that most guys were fitter at the end of the season on that half Cooper test compared to the beginning of the season. Even after the 6-7 week focused prep pre-season, they were actually fitter at the end of it. So that was it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching it, maybe for the first time, maybe again. I appreciate you checking it out. If you want more content like this, please let me know in the comments below. I'll gladly provide some more. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Take care.